Viewers and subscribers. It's been a long time. I still thank my subscribers and those who'll be new on this channel. Yes, this is Dawn Brown's channel. Yes, the government implement a legislation regulating funerals homes. It has come to my attention of reading across the news. A funeral director is calling on the government to establish a public health establishment and mortuary operation regulation that would enable the monitoring of the industry, which he says is rife with corruption. His call comes 6 years after Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton promised the regulation to allow for the licensing of facilities as well as ensure accountability and adherence to international best practices. At the time, the minister warned that self-regulated industry could lead to several issues if it continues without industry standard to abide by. But years later, and with the regulation yet to be implemented, funeral director Paul Patmore says the self-regulation of the industry is adding to the crime problem by creating loopholes for criminals to dispose of bodies without a trace. A person can collect money and hide a body underneath a body and send it. And they would search from now till thy kingdom come, and they will never find anything. There's no trace, he revealed. All that undertakers could do is to wait until they do a funeral. They just rest the body underneath, use that body as a cushion for another body, and just set it off. That's to a funeral, says Patmore. The funeral director and owner of Patmore's funeral home was speaking with Radio Jamaica on Wednesday morning, said in a case at least established or suitcase funeral homes comes for bodies in unmarked vehicles and sometimes even taxis. They take bodies from government contracted funeral homes with the approval of the deceased family and promise to carry out private post-mortem. But according to Mr. Patmore, an unscrupulous funeral home will instead find a doctor to cut the body somewhere and even just write a certificate that they have seen the body. Mr. Patmore called for regulation in the industry to finally come on board to help address some of the issues, stressing that if the country is serious about fighting crime, this avenue cannot be overlooked. The Ministry of Health created guidelines on August 2014 for the operation of funeral establishment and mortuaries. It said the guidelines were intended to monitor the public health, funeral establishment and mortuary operation and regulation, which was being reviewed by Cabinet. Mr. Patmore, I must lift my hat to you, sir, because this is something that we have been discussing abroad here. Because some of the bodies that cannot be found is surely in one of those caskets already buried. And how will we prove that? That's another case. Because too many bodies are disappearing and nobody can see them washed ashore or anywhere else. And that's a fact. Jamaican people, some of you are really the one that has helped many of these unscrupulous funeral homes to do these things. The same way how one can get these embalming fluid to buy, in the same way how money can be sourced into funeral homes and cause bodies to disappear. And as Mr. Patmore says, and I agree with him 100%, And I don't care who's going to be vexed or who's going to be shored up or whatever. That is exactly what's going on the island of Jamaica. A lot of these funeral homes need to be properly scrutinized and see what's going on the back door sides of these funeral homes. I've got so much to say about this, but my time is short. My viewers and subscribers, let me your views on this. Once again, this is Dawn Brown's TV, saying unto each one of you, walk in peace. Shalom.